Peace and bright blessings, guys. It's the Queen of Spades coming at you. So, today I wanted to talk about the different dynamics of bullying or even, disrespect, bombarding, um, when it comes to basically, you know, um, spiritual places of worship. So that's whether it's, the church, the temple, the mosque, wherever. Um, these things happen, whether it's by the hands of children or by the hands of so called adults. And I wanted to talk about that because, it's just, it's not something that happens rarely. Um, and I wanted some of you guys, thoughts and input on it as well. Firstly, I asked the ancestors, the enlightened ancestors, my guides, my, guardian angels that surround me, um, in my life and, throughout my day and in my home, to bless and protect this space, for all of us so that, this is a space where we all can feel safe and secure and we can be at peace, discussing, some of these things we be talking about. So, in places of worship, I've, actually taken like a small poll, from maybe like a handful of people to see if they ever experienced, any type of, bullying or mistreatment or, just being mistreated and borderline abused by, the hands of children within these places of worship or at the hands of adults. Now, in most cases, the people that I asked that to, there were maybe like two-thirds of the people who experienced it at the hands of children, and then the other portion of people experienced it at the hands of adults, which is crazy. Um, the reason why it piqued my interest to even, um, start asking questions about these types of things is because I've had my fair share of experiences, in, places of worship dealing with those very same things. And in my case, sometimes it would be at the hands of children, but it would be so very rare that it would be at the hands of other children. It would always be an adult female for me. So that brings me into why I decided to make this video to begin with. And I just felt like this was an important topic that, the light needed to be shed on because, well, now I know I'm not the only one that has experienced things like that. And now even the children coming up after me are experiencing some of the same things. So it's like you start to wonder and imagine, like, why do things like this even happen? And is it being allowed to happen? Like, and if so, why? What's the purpose of it? Because it can definitely alter a child's way of thinking and behaving based off of my own experiences and observations. It can definitely change how a child, corresponds with and relates to other adults based off of what that one adult, how that one adult is interacting with them. So, in my case, the situation started probably from the age of 15 or 16. And, there was this woman. She also had a child in, that organization as well. And there were different contests and competitions that, we had where different things like, arts and crafts, cooking, different things, cooking different dishes were concerned. Learning, different scriptures and reciting them, different things like that. And there would be different contests and things like that every week. And it's like, no matter what, probably me, this woman's daughter were probably the only two that were the same age, and the other little girls were way younger than us. So it's almost like when we had these contests, I would stay up like all night working really hard on whatever it was, even days up leading up to, the day that we had to present whatever it was, the food or arts and crafts, whatever it was. And, I may, ask my mother's advice on how I should do this or do that. But for the most part, like all of the work that was put into my particular projects, I did it all myself, and I used that creative aspect of myself to get that done. And my mother was proud to say that she did not help me, with any of those. I did them myself. She just oversee to make sure I didn't, like burn myself or something. But for the other little girl, basically with her mother, it was actually found out that her mother actually was doing like the projects and the cooking and stuff for her. She was disinterested. She didn't want to participate in anything. She didn't want to do anything. And so to keep her from, losing, her mother would basically take over and do everything for her. Automatically, when we would present these different arts and crafts and foods and dishes and things like that, um, she would automatically, say things to me like, "You didn't do this yourself. Your mother helped you," or, "Who helped you do this? You didn't do this all by yourself." And I was like, why does she keep saying things like that instead of just asking me if that's the case? And it baffled me because I could have easily told her what the truth was, which was that I actually did do those things myself. But what I didn't realize at that age was that it didn't matter to her if I did those things myself or not. She wanted to, paint the picture like I was, getting all of this, extra assistance. And then it was found out, by her child because during one of the competitions, she had rated her child's dish as the highest rating out of everyone's. And she would do things like that from time to time. And I just would accept it like, okay, well, she won, she won. Try harder next time. But then, the other adults would question the child like, this is really good. Like, what all did you put in it? And the child didn't have a lick of knowledge as to what was put into this dish. And then it got to the point where she was so frustrated with people continuously coming up to her, asking her, because it was good, like, what did you put in this? Like, how did you make this? And she finally said, I didn't make it, my mom did. She just wanted people to think that I made it. And I was like, wow, everyone was. And so, of course, she didn't get the credit that she was supposed to get for that assignment because she did not do it herself. Um, Her mother did it for her. So, um, so I've had my share of the nitpickiness and the woman would do other things like, if we're in class, and she asks a question and I raise my hand, she's like, does anybody else know the answer? Anybody else besides Medina? Like, it would be like that. It would be so blunt, so blatant, like it was undeniable. Like that clearly there was a personal issue with me. There was a personal issue that this woman had with me. So, um, it was just really crazy, and I can remember that even to this day, years later, because it had such a huge impact on me, and I had to realize, wait a minute, people lie, people deceive, people manipulate, people, like that was my I guess my first time seeing it like look like that, like spelled out like that. So it was crazy because then after that incident, others started joining in to basically judge the contestants also to make sure it was fair. And it's like, sometimes I'd win, sometimes one of the other little girls would win, sometimes, but it was like she wasn't like down the line like that. Was just, she seemed very bitter and very angry. And she didn't have a man in her life, so maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Um, and then she ended up getting divorced and married several times. Um, you know, and so it's crazy. Her daughter eventually left that organization as well because she was never really fully interested in being in it to begin with. She was made to be a part of it, and as you know, when you're made to do something, at some point when you become grown, you then have the choice and decision to, move however you feel best, and no one can stop you because you're an adult now. So, at some point she left, and at some point, years later, so did I. Um, left religiosity altogether. But now, years later, and there's some things that I still hold of it, that still resonate with me. But for the most part, just being religious, totally and completely, not. I'm not religious. Now, do I have a problem with people who are? Absolutely not. You can do whatever feels best for you in your life, and whatever fits into your lifestyle. But for me personally, I'm not religious. So I'm just making that plain. But years later, now I have, nieces and nephews, and I have children of my own, and they come to me to tell me about this, other, you know, woman who is, you know, a mother, she's a wife, you know, she has position in that organization, and she is just as nasty and childish and immature and ugly acting as the one that I met and ran into at 16. And it's just crazy because, you know, they were my niece and nephews were telling me about this person, and the little things that she would do to nitpick with them, the little things that she would say. And then when they would go to their mother and tell her, and she approach her about it, she always want to make like they're lying on her, or she want to make like, oh, I would never say anything like that. You know me, why would I say anything like that? Just all types of craziness. And it's just crazy that she really be feeling like she getting away with these things. And it's because it would only take me maybe once or twice to come and approach you about something that my child is saying that you're doing to them. And you're able to tell me, I didn't do that. No, it wasn't like that. what I really said was this. They got it mixed up. Like, it would only take once or twice for me to see that pattern. And then once I do see the pattern, I'm going to handle you accordingly, because ain't nobody just sitting lying on you. Not like children don't lie, but for all the children to say the same similar things time and time again, like, clearly the common denominator is her. So, there's been some issues over time where she's shown levels of jealousy and envy. And, to be honest, I don't just let my children go and just be around, you know, people, folks like that, because I know what people are capable of, and I'm protective of mine. So, it would only take a couple of times for someone to tell me, um, no, I didn't say that, or no, they got it wrong. I said it this way. No, they misheard me. It would only take a couple of times. And then after that, I'm going to start looking at you sideways. And, the fact that this is a situation with this woman that has been able to repeat and continue on for years at a time, for years at a time, and nobody ever look at her and, corner her off and be like, what the hell is your problem? Like, it baffles me, that it's able to be let go for so long like that. You know, I don't know where people's heads be, but I know where mine be, and that type of thing just simply would not be acceptable. Everybody thinks different and moves differently, but for me, it doesn't make sense that something like that could be allowed to go on for so long and nobody ever do anything about this person. So it just was crazy. It was my nephew who told me about this woman and her, nitpicking with him, saying little slick stuff to him. And then my niece started coming to me, telling me about this woman and the little slick stuff she was doing and saying to her. Just very childish, rolling her eyes up in her head. Why are you looking at me like that? Like, how old are you? Like, it's just crazy. The last straw was actually, um, me asking my son if she had ever said anything to him, and him telling me what she said. And even though it was something that would have seemed so small and insignificant that she said to him, her intentions were to be funny, and her intentions were to nitpick with him, like she had done, my niece and my nephew, and any other children that may just have decided not to go to their parents about her and just to deal with the torture. But that was my last straw. My son only had to come to me once, and once I figured out what it was, then I decided to send her a lovely little letter. And because I don't see these people often, at all. So, and we don't have no type of connection or communication with each other. But I felt like she needed to see my words, you know, and since I can't be in her presence to talk with her one on one and have a civil conversation, because she likes to lie and say that, basically the children just made some stuff up on her. You know, you're coming from an immature level anyway. So I don't feel like you're deserving of me to be formal with you or respectful with you at that point. I sent her a nice little letter and let her know how I felt about it, and told her that that's not going to continue. In fact, it stops there. And I let her know that I know about the different situations where she has acted like an idiot with these children, and I'm not going to stand by and allow it to continue on. And I think I sent her that message, and then I blocked her on social media. She comes to not a personal page, but a business page of mine from someone else's profile. And this is how spirit be like active. Like this is only just one of many thousands of incidences. But spirit, I clicked on it because I thought it was just, like a client, wanting to know about different services I offer and things like that. Which, for me, not only do I do magic, but I wear many hats, as a credit specialist, a financial, consultant, a life coach, and then I'm a magician as well. And, I'm getting into realty. Like, there's a few different things. I'm in school. Like, so people can be hitting me up at any time for any of those, one of those things. And, but when I clicked on the message, Spirit was like, get rid of that now. I was like, but I'm trying to see who this is from. Spirit is like, nah, get rid of it now, like right now. I was like, okay. I removed the message and put it in the spam. Like it gave me the option to put it into a spam envelope, but that spam envelope completely disappeared. I don't know where it went to. I can't find it anywhere. It just completely disappeared. I never saw the message. All I saw was her greeting at the top. And then, I got rid of the letter like Spirit told me to. But then I wrote her back and I said, listen, the whole reason I wrote you and blocked you was because I'm not really interested in having a conversation with you. If I was interested in talking with you, then we would have had a conversation. This was just me telling you what it is. Like this didn't like it didn't dictate that you needed to respond at all. I didn't ask you for a response. I don't care what your response is. Like, I'm telling you to stay away from these children in my family. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem on your hands. You're going to have to deal with me. And, for whatever reason, I guess her ego was hurt. So she decided that she needed to respond back. And I ended up responding back to her like, no, ma'am. Like, I didn't ask you for a response. So what you need to do is go and repent to your God. That's what you need to do because I was very clear on what I said and I'm still clear on what I'm saying. Like it still remains the same. So sitting here going back and forth with me is not going to help you. You need to go and look at the man in the mirror because I don't have nothing to do with that. I simply pointed out what offended me about you, where the children in my family are concerned, and I'm telling you that's not going to do anymore. It's time out for that. I don't care how other people in the family handled you before. This is how I'm handling you, and I'm telling you that enough's enough. And I haven't received any messages back from her. And she's one of the people that I ended up doing a return to sender on and a nice little binding too. She's been buried in a graveyard as well because I don't have time to play with people that think that they can do these types of things, have these types of actions, especially towards people that they feel can't defend themselves. And then they do these different things thinking I can get away with it because I'm used to getting away with it. And then they end up running into somebody like me. Like, so I'm not gonna, I handle it very quickly, and I get it over and done with. So I haven't heard back from her. I haven't seen any messages. The children have said she's not really saying or doing anything to them. So, as far as I'm concerned, it was a success. Um, and, so, that's my testimonial on that situation. She's been buried in a graveyard. And so I know I don't have to worry about her again. So, that's a done deal. So, and I consulted, you know, with my spirit family before even doing anything against her. And they told me, oh, yeah, yeah, go ahead on. So, I'm clear. Like, I need for others to be clear before they start stepping and moving certain ways. However, there's always that person like me to get you back in check. And that's exactly what I had to do with her. And so now that's not even really a situation or an issue anymore. But there was an issue with certain family members that are still in said, religious organization. And, you know, they're not, it's like they have some really positive qualities overall. We all do. And then there's always some fucked up stuff about us too, and about them too. And I'm able to see it and see, the things that are in them that I don't like. And I'm able to mirror that in the opposite way and not become what I don't like seeing. Like, from them. I don't want to become that. So I make sure that I don't. But there was some talk about, well, you know, you should have said it like this. You know, you shouldn't have, maybe you shouldn't have even said anything to her, and this is going to fall back on us. And I'm like, this is going to fall back on us. How is it going to fall back on us? My niece, my nephew, and my child told me of an incident and I handled it. How is it going to fall back on anybody? Are they lying about the incidences from over the course of years? No, they're not. Okay, then how is it going to fall back on anybody except the person who's guilty of doing this? Like, certain things just don't make no sense to me. And while people are afraid of things falling back on them, is that a reason to allow these things to go without being handled or checked? Is that a reason to not follow up on what these children are saying about this person and deal with the issue because you're worried about somebody coming to you about it? Now, granted, if that's your belief system, that's your belief system, but that's extreme to me, especially when it comes to situations where somebody is literally, it's an adult, and so they're much more intellectual and cunning and able to find ways to target, specific children just because they're unhappy within themselves. And like, I just don't believe that things like that are supposed to be allowed to be let go. Like, in actuality, she has been getting away with it for some years now. I'm just the one to be like, I think I told her, like, there's many people who feel some type of way against you. Like, and I'm not the only one. I'm just the only one that will tell you how I feel about you. Like, to you. So that's the only difference. She got issues with all types of people. Like, you're not happy within yourself. That's a problem. So she didn't like what I said. So she thought that she was going to get back with me, and she didn't. And I ended up getting back with her, and I let her know, you don't need to reach out to me anymore because I really don't even care what you have to say. I'm just letting you know, don't don't do it no more because it's going to end up bad for you. Like, I'm just warning you. And really, the only thing you can say is, oh, okay, she found me out. And, she's letting me know about myself. That's the only thing you can do at that point. I don't need explanations. I don't need you, coming at me with, a comeback, just to come back with a comeback. Like, nah, keep that to yourself. We good. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you for your opinion. Keep that to yourself. So, um, I basically had to tell family members, like, you don't know how to say that I'm a grown ass woman talking for myself. Like, what I'm saying to her ain't got nothing to do with you. You don't know how to say that? You don't know how to defend yourself? Like, well, yeah, we can. Okay, then do that. Because I'm going to always speak my truth. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so that was my update on that particular situation. Now I wanted to know y'all's opinions on it. My squad, like my royalty squad. Like, what are y'all thoughts and opinions on that? Have you ever experienced being in a religious organization or a church, temple, or a mosque and experience, unfair treatment at the hands of either of the children or this one adult that just seemed to target you, and not just you, but like all the children in your family? Like, let me know. Or that adult targets other children too from other families, but they may not be as um enthused to speak up about it because maybe they saw nothing happen to this person thus far. Nothing's gonna happen, so why would you even put yourself out there to tell on somebody and nothing's being done about it, which I can't blame them for that. So, but yeah, I want to know you guys' thoughts. Comment in the comment section and let me know if you've or anyone you know have ever experienced anything like that, and how did you deal with it? I know I dealt with it magically, but I want to know how you dealt with it, and if it worked out and if the situation changed. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace and bright blessings.